Hello and welcome to the eCommerce podcast. My name is Norbert, and today I'm talking to Bart from SUMO Heavy Digital Commerce. Hey Bart, how are you?
I'm fantastic. How are you?
Oh yeah, fantastic as well. Thanks for asking. Bart, tell me a bit more about yourself. What I know is you are I hide myself now because this guy has two podcasts instead of just one, and I just started. So tell me more about In the Ring and the e-commerce minute.
In the ring is a recent thing. We kind of changed over our old podcast called The Register into it because we don't want to start multiple podcasts. Considering we have two of them now. So In the Ring is really a more of a combination of internal things, some interviews. So it's kind of sort of scratching our itch on things we want to do. E-commerce minute is basically a news show. We talk about one news particular article every single day, 5 times a week. We are on episode 700 or so.
Oh wow.
I don't even remember. uh, we're gonna do this live searching right now. Crap, it's like seven something. But yeah,
Cool.
so
Congratulations on
basically,
that. How do you get
yeah, thanks.
content for this? How do you get content for this?
So we started e-commerce minute came about um, when Anchor FM first came out.
Yeah.
We always wanted to do some more content. It was a more of a branding exercise than anything like that. And it started as literally 5 minutes. It was because there was a restriction on Anchor how much you could upload, and we did it every day because that's the only way you could record it. And we just literally did a story a day. So it was a quick recap, a quick read, quick recap, just kind of with it. Now it's a little more involved. We actually have a person actually writing the articles and reads and researching, and it's basically whatever comes out that week or next week type of articles, and just kind of the newest news about technology and e-commerce and what's going on. Sometimes it's a little heavy on Amazon, sometimes it's heavy on Walmart. It really depends what's going on.
Yeah, okay, cool. Typically I'm talking to e-commerce store owners, but today I'm happy to have an agency owner here that is helping e-commerce businesses to succeed. Can you tell me a bit more? How did you get into e-commerce and why do you do what you're doing?
So e-commerce is actually not something I was into, which is really strange. My business partner, Bob, who basically runs the production side of it and what we do, got me into a lot more. I owned an agency before this. We started dabbling into e-commerce because Magento came out. We've been around Magento since basically beta and was still variant. That's how long we've been with it. So I had an agency before there, two partners left.
Art, sorry to
Happily,
interrupt you. This is really great. You're my first a Magento professional here in the show. Typically, I'm talking to those Shopify store owners, and I'm really happy to talk to a Magento guy at some time, and this is today. Perfect.
we'll talk about Shopify too, because I have stories about that too.
Yeah.
Because we actually were there at the first meeting for basically what turned into Shopify Plus. It wasn't Plus yet. We were there at like one of the Magento agencies that they were pitching around Shopify Plus. So definitely been around long enough. But yeah, Magento came out. My partners left, so I had to start a new company. I started a new company. Was doing a project, and Bob came around in my life, and then we just did e-commerce and nothing but e-com. So Magento is basically how I got into it. But Bob is basically what drove us to just doing e-commerce completely.
Cool. Um, and and which role does automation play for your customers?
Automation, a huge role. The more you
Yeah.
can automate, the better. But it comes with tricks. It's not only, people leave it as, oh, we just automate everything. There's process to it, right? You kind of got to take it step by step. It's not just a quick I'm just going to get this software and it's going to automate everything. There's a lot more to it. It's about the business process. It's about technology process. It's walking through that, and a lot of people miss that.
And, do you have? I know this is as at least on my end as an agency owner, we have a lot of people asking for can we connect this with that, and can we connect our local POS and send the orders to the shipping center and connect this marketplace and all this kind of stuff. Are these questions also coming in your country?
Always.
Always, yeah.
Always. It's what we do. We do best. We actually, that's like what we do really, really best. Our clientele, the way they come to us usually, and have over the years is, so little session. Like we started as a development shop. We got into consulting and working with internal teams. But a lot of times the clients come to us is for rescues or screwed up implementations or integrations or heavy duty integrations. It's what we do best. We're like that heavy construction. That's what we do. So it comes to us all the time. And the more complex, the crazier, the better. I mean, there's a year we had 3 AS400 old school mainframe implementations.
I love it.
That was happening.
I love it.
So for us, it's the more complex, the crazier, the better. We love them. It's what it is. The problem is, I think people sort of, especially on the Shopify side, is like, oh, I'm just going to plug in all that stuff without thinking through it, right? Forget the systems and platforms. It's what is the best thing for your business. Look at from the holistic perspective of what has to connect where, what is the best system, how can you connect them? And I think that's people were miss at. People miss the whole idea of like, oh, they get sold on a platform or they get sold on a marketing thing. And it's like, oh, this just connects. What it doesn't. There's a lot more to that. What the marketing brochure says and what the reality looks like are two different things.
Yeah, and what I see very often is that businesses just install one plugin after each other. So
right, you connect without actually looking at privacy and how fast it is and what it does, and doesn't make sense for the business. Does installing that particular plugin actually save you money, or does it, or time?
The thing
all
is,
those things, people do not go through it.
For Magento, it's even worse because in Shopify you have a strict API, and if the API changes, you need to change it, otherwise your app is unlisted. So that's the truth. For Magento, you can install the app and then you can't perform any upgrades anymore because the app provider or the plugin provider does not maintain the plugin anymore because it didn't sell as much. So if you are, and especially what you leave in the database, it's a nightmare. So I'm absolutely no friend of doing too many plugins into a open source system.
I think it goes for both. Shopify, we have a client that we literally had to rewrite every single plugin because the restriction of privacy. We had to actually change it up because in the Shopify world, the customer data moves around everywhere, right? So we had to do that. So you can't rely on it all the time. But also in Shopify, like, the plugins are not run by Shopify; they're run by the vendor. Is the vendor up? Is their systems up? Is it like you have to deal with them all the time? So it's both. On the Magento side, some things we rewrote completely because the plugin was too big or too small or extended. So it to me, it's more about what does the client need and what is the business. Then go look at things. I think being driven platform first is it's not the right way of doing it.
Yeah, totally agree. What is the most important quality to look for an eCom ops hire?
Attention to detail and curiosity, but actually being really organized. I think it's a knowledge of e-commerce itself. They don't have to be highly technical, but they need to know e-com in and out, meaning that they should know how payments work, how shipping works, how every detail works. Like I said, they don't have to be the implementer of it, but they need to know how those things work because people get in trouble with that. E-commerce is very highly expensive when you're building it. It's like building a physical store. You have to
Yeah.
know all those things, and you don't need to know how to connect the plumbing, but you should probably know how it works.
And the most problem what people forget when they build their store online. So if you compare it to a physical store, you never ever would say, I built my physical store and don't make marketing for that physical store so that people come in and purchase something. You have
Right.
money for the marketing left, but most people that build an e-commerce store simply forget that the e-commerce store also needs some marketing, and they simply have no money left for that marketing on the e-commerce side. So
Yep.
this is a real risk when you start your e-commerce business.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the miscommunication of, yes, e-commerce is easy to get into. I can turn a Shopify store within, a day and have it
Yeah,
up and running, which I have done before just for fun. But it doesn't mean it's going to succeed. It doesn't mean you're making the best money. It doesn't mean, the profit margins are amazing. Like, there's so much work that has to go into it. It is building a physical store. It happens that you're all of a sudden your market, it becomes so much bigger. But that comes with its own, challenges.
yeah, absolutely. And based on your experience with e-commerce brands, what do you think are the biggest opportunities for e-commerce businesses to streamline costs?
Uh, um, well, that goes a whole bunch of that's a long we did a whole podcast on this. Um, it's more of not streamlining it's looking at when you first starting just a shop, like say Shopify store, right? Putting it out there and doing it, and then looking at all your costs. Would it be your credit card stuff? Would it be your shipping? Then you go down to your products, how you're shipping them, what you're doing with them. Improving it every single day and looking at every single cost and making it so that you can make the biggest profit margin is the key.
Yeah,
And that's a lot of work. You can't just turn it on and be like, I'm done. It's looking at every little piece of it, right? That goes for marketing, that goes for SEO. It's just a living, breathing thing, and it works every day, which makes this whole industry and working for this industry very exciting. Because if
yeah,
you just do websites, like marketing websites, it's done. Yeah, you have to optimize it sometimes, but e-commerce is living, breathing. It works every day.
yeah. And every day there is something new. A new
Yeah, and
idea, a
it
new
never, it's
concept.
not all just, yeah, it's not just on, it's going to break. It's, it's technology. Sometimes the
Yeah,
server is down, or this is going on, or whatever is going on, or, it's not even your fault. Sometimes it's, say UPS is down, or your API is down, or USPS is down. Like, that happens all the time.
yeah. Let's talk about e-commerce. So you have Magento and Shopify. Do you also work with other solutions like
We do.
WooCommerce, Presto?
Yeah. Nope. We have
Nope.
not. US is not really, it's a very, it's still Magento, Shopify, BigCommerce,
Yeah.
and then you go up in scale. So the breakdown in US is, it's still small, like Squarespace or Wix or anything else out there. PayPal buttons, you know what I mean? Then Shopify and BigCommerce, they play in sort of the same space. Magento went upscale a little bit. Hyper's still
But Magento
around.
is more enterprise. It's like Shopify Plus. So at least for Magento too.
Yeah, Magento 2 is definitely right, because it's owned by Adobe. They really
Yeah.
went upscale and they want to be enterprise and want to do that. Still open, there's still open source side of it. Who knows what's going to happen on the day we're actually recording this today on June 30th, as it happens to be Magento's one end of life.
Yeah.
Today's it.
We
Which
should
is
make a party.
it's not. People are still going to use it. There's a lot more to
Yeah.
it. We just
We have
released
a
a whole
lot of
podcast around it.
we have a lot of Magento 1 customers still, so I see it every
Yeah.
day.
Yeah, which is its own world, and I prefer one for the moment, and 2 has its issues. But PrestaShop has not been a biggie here.
Yeah.
Shopware is starting to bring in, but not
Oh,
haven't seen it
really?
much.
Shopware from Germany.
Yep, from Germany.
Oh, yeah, great.
We've been seeing some of it, just because
Mhm.
of how architecture works in it. We've been seeing more and more and more. We happen to have a team in Poland, so
Mhm.
we do definitely see it.
The
um,
the 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 new version Shopware 6 really is great. So
I've heard good things.
yeah, absolutely. So in terms of technology, anyway, the Magento 2 absolutely is, yeah, okay, now stable, long time not. For Shopware, I expected the same.
Is it that stable?
Yeah, it is. It is. If you fix a lot of things, then it's stable.
Right. So it's not. It's not. It's still not there. But that's
Yeah.
just. It is what it is. I think overall, like, there's also work area, which is friends of ours have it out of Philly.
Yeah.
They're big against a Ruby on Rails type of platform. It's great. It's actually really good. They're doing good things with them. So there's plenty of platforms. The funny thing
And
is, like, back in the day, it was like, people are still, it was silly for anybody to build their own, right? You platform it as you should. With technology now, with all the new, front end stuff and things like that, you don't really need to use a platform if you don't need to. You can build your own pretty simply if you wanted to.
yeah, but
Um,
I think that why reinventing the wheel? There are so good platforms outside. Um, if you put the energy into the products, into the marketing, into the optimization, to speed things up, why don't you use a proven system like Shopify
Well,
Plus, for instance?
because there's clients we literally have that will be better off if they did
Yeah.
not use a platform.
Okay.
If they just straight up did headless and you can build it on, it'd be faster and then it'll be built on the needs they need.
How big is
Which is
your typical client?
um our clients range right now are the small ones are under $25 million in sales. The bigger ones are 100, 200, 300 million.
Yeah. Okay.
And then bigger and then huge companies. So we
This is a
definitely
huge
have a weird split.
difference. This is a huge difference. So a smaller company, of course, they cannot have the money to invest in their own system and build it up. Of course, a bigger
No,
company,
no, no.
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, which is not a which is a funny thought at the moment with Magento being kind of split up right now. Do you replatform to two? Do you go to Shopify? Do you build something you're on your own? You got to look at all the costs right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. And Shopify Plus is expensive. It depends on the use case.
Yeah,
You get
absolutely. It depends
you
on the
get
use case.
you get a lot of performance, especially, so you know that the thing is never down or shouldn't be down, at least. And you rely on the cloud in the case. But if with enough money, you can build that up yourself and have a
Sure.
redundant system.
We've
So
we've seen we've had a client that actually had a hybrid, ran on Magento, but
oh
they also had Spike type of things 4 times a
mhm.
year, and they use Shopify for that.
Yeah.
So there's definitely ways of going about it. There's plenty of technology now that makes accessibility so much better and faster and things like that. It makes your costs smaller. So there's ways to go around that.
What e-com strategies have you implemented that have maximized the business bottom line?
Oh,
Oh,
process,
now
process, process,
tell us your
process,
secrets.
process, process, nothing but process.
Yeah.
So the way we usually work with clients, and this goes for everything, we actually go through a full, hey, what if depends how clients to come to us, but we go through a whole strategy session of it, figure out what they need next, and then we do continuous improvement,
Hmm.
nonstop, all the time. So most of our clients are Kanban version stuff. We still have some. There are on Scrum, Kanban. We just like it better. It just works better with clients. We can release stuff faster. But we teach a lot of it, and it makes it that continuous improvement as you go along. Changes everything for a client. So you just chip away, and that goes for large clients or small clients. You got to chip away at that at your costs,
Hmm.
right? To get that profit margin as big as possible. So it's all about the process. And we've dealt with people who are like, no, 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 we have to go fast, and we're like, slow down a little bit. Process is going to make you go faster. Just plan a little bit, and it's going to
Man,
save you money.
yeah, that's cool. Yeah, last question for today. thank you so much for your time. But who has taught you the most about e-commerce in your career?
Actually, my business partner, believe it or not.
Really? Cool.
Yes, I do not come from ecom world.
Uh-huh.
I come from networking, security. I used to do network intrusion and security for credit unions and banks.
Oh, cool.
So yeah,
Oh,
I do
cool.
not come from ecom world whatsoever. So
Is
my
this
business partner.
something that is very technical part that you did, or is it more
Yeah. Oh,
the
yeah. We
yeah?
used to bid back in the day before all this. After college, I was building
Okay.
intrusion
Yeah.
detection systems for banks.
Yeah. So your partner is the one who taught you most about e-commerce,
A lot of, I
and
mean, obviously, when you're in tech, you kind of learn those things, but he definitely has that kind of knowledge that's just very, very deep
mhm,
when it comes to e-commerce.
cool. That's great. Yeah, it's great to have such a great partner. And also it was so very interesting to learn how another agency works with clients and what thoughts you have about all these different systems. For me, it was an entire new experience because our typical clients range somewhere around 500K to 10 million,
Hmm.
and your starting point is somewhere around 25 million. This is really
Hmm.
an in completely different league of e-commerce business. On the other hand, we are from Austria while you're from the US, so everything is a bit smaller here. Anyway, so with ThinkSmarter, of course, also have bigger clients, but in the agency part, we typically range up to that, and that's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
So really interesting. Thank you so much for your time. And I will send you over the link soon.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.